You know, you're just getting ready to get out and play your first rounds of the year, maybe hitting balls, thinking about playing the game. And you start thinking about what you're doing with your golf swing. The most important thing that you can do is focus on what you're doing in your pre-swing, your address position. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and make sure you're sharing our information with your friends. So here's the deal. And this is what I see so many times. People come out, they're excited, you're excited to play. And you get set in here and you start looking at stuff and you're kind of in a position like this and you're looking at, and all of a sudden all your address position is all messed up. If you go down the line here, Gibbsy, we're seeing a toe line like this, a knee line like this, a hip line like this, and a shoulder line like this. So they're not aligned correctly. The ball position in a face-on view is a little bit more forward. Your shoulders are in an open position. You're taking the club in a down-the-line view. You're taking the club outside like this, and you're kind of wiping across it like that, and it's got no hit to it. Might even be coming out of the hosel as far as you're concerned. You don't really know, and you start thinking immediately about what you're doing with your golf swing, instead of thinking about what you're doing at address. Now, one of my sort of pet peeves in this game to understand proper address is this. Your trail hand, my hand without the glove, is lower to the ground, closer to the ground than my hand with the glove. So when I hold a golf club and I set up, my right hand is a little bit lower than my left hand, say 2 or 3 inches. Well, what I see a lot of people do is if I put this right across my shoulders like this, so this would go in that fashion there, they'll set up. You forget that the right shoulder is lower than the left, and you stop pointing this up into the air. This should point up into the air. Because your right hand's lower than your left, your right shoulder should be lower than your left. Or said better, your trail hand is lower than your lead hand. Your trail shoulder should be lower than your lead shoulder. And it's not a lot, but it's enough to make a difference so that when you look at me, you can go, oh yeah, the shoulders are pointing up into the air. That's exactly what they should be doing. So when you get set up and you do this, which is my right shoulder lower than my left shoulder, now I'm tilted this way. Well, what happens is that you set weight back to your trail side. And so all of a sudden you're like this. And then what you do from here is you slide a little bit. Maybe you don't turn quite as much. Maybe your hip goes out and you start seesawing your shoulders. And then when you come in, you hit the ground way before the ball. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to understand how you have to offset some weight distribution in the body, in the whole body, in order for you to be able to strike the ball much more solidly. And here's the deal. My upper body, I want you to look at the body in like 2 things, upper body, lower body. So upper body, I'm going to be tilted like this, just a little bit, not like this, but just a little bit like this. And then as a result of that, like I've gone like this, now I've got weight going back over here. There's a little bit more of my head that's gone to the backside on the scale. There's a little bit more of my chest that's gone to the backside on that back scale. So now what I got to do is I've got to take weight in my lower body and I've got to throw it onto the forward scale. So if I've got a scale here and I go like this, all of a sudden it's like 60% back here. Now I got to go like this to get it to 50-50. And one of the cool things that you can do is make sure that when you take a golf club and you hold and it's perpendicular to the ground, that the outside of your hip is on the inside part of the shoe. If you're leaning back like this, and I go back to this, now all of a sudden you can see the outside part of my hip is on the outside part of the shoe. I want to get the outside part of the hip on the inside part of the shoe, which is right there. It's not a lot, but it's enough, and it's imperative. So you get set up like this, and now you're getting to hit the shot. This is what you're going to feel. You're going to feel like your back leg is on an angle. It's not straight up and down. The outside part of the foot is at a certain spot. The outside part of my hip is inside that by a significant amount. I don't want to have the outside part of my hip over the outside part of the shoe. I want it to be inside there. So there's a little bit of a push into that lead leg. Like this. So now I'm going to get set up, and I'm just going to feel like I just throw it a little bit there. Now my weight distribution is really good. And what's going to happen is you're going to hit the ball before you hit the ground. Because when you remove a slide, see, when I slide, I move the ball forward in my stance. My stance is here. It's here. When I move this way, I move it forward. Now the ball's outside my lead shoulder. When I take my foot and I create, or my leg, and I create like a kickstand out of that, now I rotate, and my head slides a little bit, but it's not a tremendous amount. But my sternum is right where I want it to be, and now I'm going to hit the ball first. The other thing that's going to happen to you, by the way, is the club is going to come from the inside. When you start to slide your body, stay on that shot there, Gibbsy, if you would. When I start to slide like this and take the club out, now the club is way outside. When I take the club and I rotate, now the club is inside. My hands have some depth to it. And that means they're going to return to the ball from the inside. So they're going to go, the ball's going to start out to the right, and it's going to have a nice little draw to it, just like that. So you want to improve your address position to improve your body motion, your impact position, your consistency of strike, reduce some of that face rotation. Like this is for all these little problems that you're having. And by the way, you're just coming out of the wintertime. You're just getting going here. You got to be great in what you can be great at. And you can be great in the address position. So what you want to just feel is that you're just a little bit of a nudge, just like that. It's literally like it's an inch, but you just want to feel it. And then what you'll feel is you'll feel that trail leg on an angle. You'll feel that lead leg almost like it's compressing into the ground there, which is exactly what you want to try to feel. Set up like this, have a little bit of a tilt into there, and now go. That was absolutely hammered. I mean, effortlessly hammered. And again, a nice little draw. Let's come up here and look at this number because this was really good. That started just about a half a degree to the right. It had a couple hundred, maybe 300 RPMs of left spin. So that shot has a nice little draw to it. And 118 miles an hour of ball speed on 80 miles an hour of clubhead speed. That is great ball speed for 80 miles an hour of clubhead speed. Tremendous 6-iron here, okay? And so that one flew about 177 to 180. Apexed at about 85. It's like those are numbers that I really, really like. All right. Now, let me tell you one other really important thing about this. Let's go down the line. And I talked about this at the very beginning. When you start leaning back this way, my knee line is like this. My toe line is like this. My knee line is like this. My hip line is even more open, and my shoulder line is even more open to that. Now, when you start putting pressure into that lead leg, all of a sudden, like right now, you can't, here, go back to that single shot there, Gibbsy, if you would. You can't see my lead thigh. But when I go like this, now you can see the lead thigh. And all I've done, now you can jump into that face on. All I've done is just put some weight over there. And when I put that weight over there like this, it naturally closes the hips, which will naturally close the shoulders. And it will align the shoulders, hips, knees, and feet. Those are the 4 lines we concern ourselves with. Shoulders, hips, knees, and feet, toes, heels, however you want to say it. I just feet. It will get all those 4 lines parallel by just feeling that there. So you start then allowing yourself to rotate properly. You start to allow yourself to get the weight distribution in the right position so the bottom of the arc happens. The shoulders and the hips are actually more closed than they normally would be, which invites a little bit more of an around backswing and gets the hands into a deeper position at the top. So you get in here like this. Don't move your upper body. Just bump the shoulders like that. And when you bump the hips, sorry. When you bump the hips like that, it will naturally drop your head back just a fraction. So you get in here like this. You bump just a little bit like that, and then go. And now you can see that ball twisting over to the left-hand side. I mishit that golf ball, and it was still very, very good and extremely consistent with the shot that I hit before. So not a great strike. It didn't have the ball speed. That was 115. It launched a little bit lower. It didn't quite have the apex, but it got out to the relatively same number. Okay? You've got to solve this part of your game. And this is something that you should do, not just at the beginning of the year, but also I would check this maybe once a month, once every other month. You've got to make sure that you've got your posture, your setup position, the lines of the body all together. So we're feeling that pressure there, and then go. This one I crushed. I shut the face, but I mean I destroyed this one. 120 miles an hour ball speed. Again, a little bit more of a shut face, but you can see that thing's creating draw, which is exactly what it's about. I'm just hitting the ball. I'm not trying to hit a shot shape right now, and all of a sudden it's drawing the ball. It's turning over with that right to left. It's got more power. It's got more speed. You're looking for that. I know you are. This is going to help you. Get in. Slide those hips just a little bit forward, just like that. So slide them forward just like that, and now go. And that one there was also smoked. That one there went right over that Target. 84.5 miles an hour of clubhead speed, 120 ball speed, 92 apex, 183 carry, 190. I'm not unhappy. You won't be either. Make sure you pay attention to what you're doing with your lower body and just offset that trail hand being a little bit lower than the lead hand by getting the hips to just bump just a little forward. You're just talking about an inch. It's not a lot. Just a little bit forward, just like that, so that you feel like your trail leg is almost the kickstand. And then you can pivot and rotate around it. You won't have to worry about sliding. And when you stop sliding, you start rotating, all of a sudden we create a lot of clubhead speed, and we control the low point of that arc. That means we're going to hit the ball first. It's going to come out of the center of the face. Distance is going to be on your side. Consistency is going to be on your side. And low scores will be there with you. To improve all parts of your game, subscribe to my channel and click the link below.